Welcome to the nightly vid. Today we saw SPY. There was some selling in here, but they didn't change too much. We had a 2-2 reversal day. The Qs, inside day reversal. Dow, 2 up, 2 down reversal. IBM, 3-2 expansion takes the 2-2 week down. Oh, actually, forgive me. Did not take the week down. So closer to doing that, but we'll see. Now, overnight, we have firmed up inside day green. So we're potentially trying to go back up to 67512 and then all-time highs. And that'd be preferred as we have a 2 up this week. And you'll see beginning of the week goes up, stops people out. Up again would be the idea. From the weekend video, XLV has hit magnitude. So congratulations to those of you guys trading the quarterly macro video list. Inside quarter up XLV confirmed by RevStrat week. We did not have to catch the first RevStrat week, but definitely can catch that second one for at least a little bit of a gain there. We saw ISRG in the healthcares gapping up this week with earnings 322 to the upside. You'll see the year goes back to a doji. The quarter is a 3. I believe. Oh, actually, it's just off a 3, so it's likely that it will do that. Maybe not tomorrow, but we'll see. They bring them down a little bit first. Here's your gap. So question is, are you staying out of that or not? If we go to our quantums. Quantums continued today with another amazing down day. Down 10%, from yesterday's close, 13% from yesterday's close at the lows. QBT momentum shooter week has hit its targets. We still have a few down here. We may have to have some corrective activity, which we did have. So we can watch and see, broadening formation in here. Do we set up a new 3? What do we get? Maybe a 2-2 tomorrow morning. Our GTI, same, comes off the lows a little bit. A very nice down day still. Then QBTS closed a little closer to the lows, closer to that 2260 back down. We also saw in the uraniums. Uranium 2-2 week, pivot machine gun of these guys. We had the inside day down Tuesday, which Sarah found on her scans, which is awesome to see. Like so. Taking these guys out. So we traded SMR in the gappers yesterday morning, and you'll see coming off the highs. We also had it on our list going into Friday last week. We had it on our 3-2 expansion list. You will see it had the shooter week as well. Brings them back in. If we go to Homebuilders, we did see them come back in today. So you're going to see we had the previous broadening formation, and it truly just is, do you stay out or not? So now that it's came back in, you can see this. They came back into the broadening formation, and now they're trying to take this out, potentially all these guys out too. We have an inside day 3-1. Now this does not mean we can't recover, right? Maybe we triangle down and then triangle back up again like this. Or maybe they do keep going to the downside. But we have inside day Homebuilders. KBH will be a shooter. DHI will be a 3-2-2 shooter setup as well. Right? I still prefer these guys to the upside. So if we have 2s going 3 and stuff, I will play those. TOL 3-1. PHM 2 down 1. Then there's a few others in here, but ALLE, which you can see was one of the ones that took out yesterday's lows in here. And there's some that I'm not super familiar with, but if we go in here, we can go XHB top holdings. And for the most part, the top holdings in here just aren't as liquid. But BLD, CVCO, inside day BLD. And before I get too carried away, gappers here. All right. CVCO, sorry. So CVCO is a hammer. It is 2-2 week up. Still not all-time highs. And they're really come back through this range. All right. Home Depot inside, Lowe's inside. And when we're looking at these guys, we can see they are chopping a little bit. So see Lowe's 3, 3, 1, right? So we have a triangle in here. It's just which way is it going to go? Who's going to be the guys that win out tomorrow is my question, right? Same with Home Depot. They're 2, 2, 3, 1. So they've been going a little sideways. Be aware of that. And then all the other ones, they are moving a bit around. So we'll have right. The other thing we did see today is then XLV's new highs, and then potentially coming back a little bit. So we'll see if this broadening formation, I guess, stay out of the sub triangle or start coming back through the bigger one. Let's go and take a look at our scans. Sure, we got all the dates correct. All right. So you're going to see SPY 40% to the upside still today. So even though we had a little bit of a down day, still some leadership there. Real estates, energy a little bit, healthcare a little bit, consumer cyclicals a little bit, and staples a little bit as well. So a good chunk of these guys were going up today. So it's not market crash, nothing like that. If we go to 2 down and green, or actually let me go to scenario 1 first. Scenario 1s will be stronger than the rest of the market. So these guys will be stronger in general for reversals. So we want to go and look at those first, because if the market were to firm up tomorrow or just go inside day tomorrow, these guys will be the first to recover. Let's make sure ATR is filtered here. Vive in the healthcares. You can see inside day, which could take the week. It is pretty green on the year. 3, 2, 3, 2 on the month. So they're definitely doing some battle in here. Since they're doing some battle in here, would be willing to go down, pivot machine gun, or up, just based on what the market's doing. Visa, inside day, could become a PMG down. Inside week, so it is lower highs. Could become a rev strap month if things were to be weaker in the financials, which they did reverse down. So if they continue down tomorrow, 322 month down, maybe Visa could kick in with that. MasterCard would be a shooter day. And you can see in here, we do have a sub broadening formation. Like so. So we have the major one. Then we have sub triangle if they were to change things around, similar to what you can see they did earlier in October. Like this. Shooters, counters, hammer, boom, takes them out. That'd be internal triangle. This would be sub triangle. Boulder 3-1. Not sure what Boulder does. Consumer cyclicals. BLDR. All right. Humana. Inside day. That could become a PMG if we see the healthcares keep racing on tomorrow. On the 60-minute basis. Ooh, FedEx PMG. So you can see here in FedEx, sellers sold it down. Buyers just drift back up. And then potentially that seller comes back and they have more to sell. I know Ace is looking to be long FedEx. However, or not long FedEx, but UPS. However, those guys don't look too hot for tomorrow. Could start racing back through the other way. That'd be an issue, right? Dix does have inside day PMG. And I say that on the UPS FedEx only if, things are going lower tomorrow. Things firm up, they could be some of the stronger ones in the market still. Those triangles, just got to be aware of them. Lululemon, discretionary, inside day. Elf is a nice looking 2-week chart. Not sure when I charted this out. You got some pretty nice pivots in there. Lululemon. Let's see. Williams Sonoma. Amgen and the healthcares looks a little bit worse if healthcares are weaker tomorrow. You got pivots to come back through. STLD. So STLD materials. Knocking on heaven's door right up here. Top of the daily triangle. Materials have been hot recently, which also means a lot of people are long materials. So what happens if we want to take some of those guys out off an inside day, right? So you got the higher time frame broadening formation there, and you got a lot of pivots. I got a star on that one. It's a new one I have not traded. So Philip Morris was one we have been watching with this triangle in here. And you'll see it went hammer day 2-2 reversal. This also sets up 2-day hammer, which you can see a hammer day reversal. If it goes again, that's a 2-day hammer, right? Like that, if it breaks here. So we got pivots, big broadening formation, and staples. Unlike the SPY, green on the month staples. So they're buying some staples here. Ooh, CTAS on the quarter. It's definitely interesting. It's already made those new lows. Did go reversal week, but inside day. What if that wants to bring them back to the downside? I'm not sure what they do. That could be a pretty decent short. Only if that works, though. I'm not sure. CTAS, Syntas, industrials. Industrials are a bit more firm, so it's hard to say. We obviously had all the industrials, Dow Jones, defense, reverse. Homebuilders didn't, right? But we're watching them for tomorrow. XLI reverse industrials. Jets reverse today. Cruise lines did not. What about Norfolk Southern? Big outside day. Ooh, okay. Now that's leading us down a nice road here. So we can see, right, all the industrials did reverse Norfolk Southern 3-2. Norfolk Southern could become a 3-2 shooter day to go outside week, confirming a potential 3-3 month. Where's that happening at? Where's that occurring at? New highs here. Maybe, right? Maybe they bring them back in. We will see. That's depending on if the market's strong or weak tomorrow. So what's interesting is a lot of these inside days seem to be on things that were a little bit weaker. PSX. I might have to refresh my page. You see PSX was inside day, became a 2. That's one thing I did forget to mention here. Energies, we're going to see inside 60, end of day, boom, they buy the energies. So that's another thing we do see them rotating into still while the market's down. So above last week's highs, XLE, you get this kick in. Right here. And you'll see for next month, it sets up a hammer after some red bars. So maybe we finally see the energy rally kick off. What could be happening here is there's a lot of discussion about the AI, the nuclears, that type of stuff, but I don't think people realize that they're years out, right? We don't have the labor, the skill, the supply chains to actually, go out and build hundreds of nuclear plants, or even just 100 of them, right, to put around the country, or even just a dozen of them for some big mega corporations, right? So they're looking at this, and potentially we see an uptick just in energy usage, because they'll look at it and be like, well, it might be easier to just do it the old-fashioned way, at least in the meantime, right, while the technology is being built, if they really want to speed up production and make sure these data centers and stuff get built, and electric cars and batteries and all this stuff, in order to make sure that can happen, right? And the technology can keep improving. Very interesting, very much something to read about, but that's my thought process. Maybe that's the case. We have some inside quarters energies, potentially outside year, right? If they were to kick in, and that's next month, we'll see, right? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We got XOP, not so much. So you can see sideways like this. It did come back in, ticks down a little bit, not so much doing anything yet. Inside week, hammer day, so maybe. But OIH, different, right? Really strong. So XLE, OIH, they want those. But do they come and actually buy XOP or not? OIH, you'll see, has a nice big broadening formation here with targets up in here around 35%. So if we see those kick in, we have the rest of this quarter here. Then we'll have next year the Hammer RevStrat OIH. This is something we want to be aware of because, you know, much like other RevStrats this year, like VRSN, yeah, up they go, right? They'll move. So we want to be watching those. That being said, let me relog into my scanner here. Looks like it's be a slightly longer vid, but that's fine. All right. We will have some of the shenaniganers. Let's see. Sorry about that. And what I mean by that is high volatility names. Silver AGQ, which is pretty much SLV silver, is at the top of the list, moving on average 7%, which was pretty nuts. And maybe AGQ is, you know, a little bit more leveraged than silver. I'm not 100% certain. But Nail, NAIL, I'm not sure what they do. This is your Homebuilders ETF 2X, Homebuilders ETF specifically. And you see that's still a shooter month down. So if they were to reverse tomorrow, you know, using options on this doesn't make sense, but going and using the shares could give you bigger returns. And if it goes up, you know, maybe you could get bigger returns there as well. Let's see. GitLab. So you see this one's moving inside day, could bring them back through this triangle like this. So that's something that could change what's occurring. I'm going to put a star next to it since it's moving. Oof, ANF. Where are these guys going? And they don't look too good. Currently, they're right against the lows inside day. Maybe an interesting short squeeze, maybe an interesting measured move. I prefer not to go too crazy on this stuff straight into the lows like this. But you can. You definitely can. And it's a very aggressive seller in there this year. And we do like long red and green bars. So notable. Wow, Werby. Very nice monthly PMG in here. Cool stuff. Inside day down there. Below's pretty interesting as well. Inside day after slight higher high here, reclaiming these highs on the left here. Not sure what Cart does. Is it Instacart? Maple Bear Inc.? Let's see. Instacart? Yeah, I wonder if they come out with some crazy AI stuff, right? That'd send them moving. Maybe in this market, not so much, but in the future, that could definitely be something. You got nice broadening formation in there, though. Still stuck in there on the week, so you can see it really tight, like this, which is going to give you trouble. Potentially, right? But this monthly range, 31% is more than enough to move. So what if this causes a breakout, maybe? Inside day cart. So we definitely have a little bit more consumer stuff that could pick up. Not sure what Service Titan does, but they got nice broad information there too. Right at support inside day. I'm just going to set an alert on this one a little bit higher. If they were to come back into that range further. Free CPRI. Not sure what they do. Interesting on the quarter. Now we're starting to get into some of the nobodies. That's okay. Two up in red. Let's see it. SNDK. Obviously, the buyers have been buying this one up. Maybe they want to take some guys out. Okay. Well, on the two up in red side of things, there's not a lot that's interesting popping out at me. Maybe ALGN and the healthcares if that kicks in. Got a decent broad information there. Yeti's interesting. This is also consumer discretionary. Hog is in there, consumer discretionary as well. Technologies, W Day. Let's take a look at two down in green now. We have about 100 names. A-Lab is, you can see, like right on the broadening information. Daily potential 322. What can that do? Could set up a weekly. It's still pretty tricky on that month. It looks like that month is coming back into me. But we'll see what we get. Maybe nugget and gold, silver. Was he J-Nug as well, maybe? Gap down buy in here. There's some miners and stuff. BVN. There's more. Ego. EGO. AU. Basic materials. SIL. Silver. NEM. Materials. So you can see a triangle layout. Potential 2-2s there. So these guys look a little bit more interesting to us, right? UGL. Gold ETF. WPM, Wheaton Precious Metals Corp. Now, these would have to work, right? And they'd have to work really good because 2-2 day, we got to get back through this gap and all this fun stuff. Still possible, right? Now, if we draw it as if we are going into expansion, it would have looked like this, right? Taking out this range and leaving. If you go to the week, still pretty red week. So you'd really have to see that buyer come back. You know, we'd want to see them go up to like 102, really get it moving, ideally, if we're going to counter that. Gush. Oil and gas. What? Production bullish. 2x ETF. See some slightly lower lows. And those slight lower lows, that's all that matters to us. Right? Anyone in this range, they're probably gone. Here. That could be nuts. The Cocoa Company. This is some funny stuff, right? A lot of commodity looking stuff. So as we get towards the bottom, there's less interesting stuff. Maybe you got utilities, but really that's about it. So definitely a lot of interesting things there. I'm going to call the video off here. So if you're skipping to the end, here is what we are going to see. These guys in here. Actually, all of these guys here. And then shenanigans, you know, beyond. We could throw in there, and then we'll see who's gapping tomorrow. But that is your Monday, or not Monday. What am I saying? That is your Wednesday night nightly vid. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Adios.